us again on another interesting edition on The Woman in You. You know, on this program, we always showcase the worth of every woman. Why? Because every woman is wonderful. Every woman is outstanding. Every woman is marvelous, adorable, and nice, as I often say. And they should be treated that way. And unfortunately, yes, it's very true. A lot of us women have lost confidence in ourselves. So don't believe in the worth of who we are as women. And so we come on this program to showcase the worth that every woman has got. That will tell you about the wonderful things that God has endowed you with as a woman and why you should be proud of yourself. My womanhood is my pride. And I come to tell you that you, as a woman, you are blessed. Sister, you are 100% that queen. Yes, I've got passion, I've got pride, and yes, I have class, some special joy. Ochei is my name, and I welcome you on board another interesting edition of The Woman in You. It's The Woman in You, and today on the program, we have another amazing woman with us as guests. Yes, she is a wonderful woman of God. She is a mother, a grandmother, one woman you like to have time to talk with, and then you know the worth that she can, bring to every woman. As a woman today, join me to welcome wonderful, elegant, beautiful, magnificent woman of God, daughter of Zion, Bishop Debbie Newell. She is of the Freedom Ministries International, also known as House of Freedom here in Asaba. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I love your smile. Anytime I see you, I like to smile because I see you smiling always. All right, ma'am. Who is Bishop Debbie Newell? We would like to know that first.
Oh my God. I'm truly a woman that just I love God and I love people. If you want to break it down, I just feel that I was brought to earth to just love people. And this I do in different ways. Through teaching, through giving, through a hug, through a smile, I think that's why I'm here on earth, to care and love people.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, now we are looking at the worth that every woman can bring to this, to the table, to make women believe in themselves, to make women value themselves, cherish themselves like the women that God has made them to be from the beginning.
Yes.
People will tell you, when you see someone say, God really took time to create this woman. I think He did it on a Sunday. That's exactly what He did for every woman.
Yes, ma'am.
He took time to create us.
Yes,
we are special people.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, we want to really know we want to meet, not just know, we want to meet the woman in Bishop Debbie Newell. Who actually are you? Want to look at your early years, growing up. So we're going back memory lane.
Yes.
Let's look at your story of your life, kind of. How was it growing up?
Going down memory lane, I should say I'm particularly blessed because God gave me parents that loved me. My parents loved me so much, and they poured in that love.
Good to know.
That's why you see me wanting to love everybody I meet. And I was born in Lagos, and I grew up in Enugu, in Enugu State. I had my university first degree in University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And then I went to do my youth service in Kaduna, and I met my husband. So we got married, and he was a journalist. There was no preaching in view at all. I was Anglican, so I didn't really know much about call or preaching. And, God weaved everything together, and we began to worship with the Living Faith, now called Winners Chapel. And from there, we went to Bible school, and, from there, the rest is history. We understood that if we don't answer this call and bless people, our own lives will not be as blessed as we want it to be. So he told us to come to Asaba, and we came to Asaba, and God Himself, everything you see is God Himself, no additions. Only Jesus Christ that made it possible. So as a person, I'm an extrovert. That is I'm outgoing. When people are just going on the way, I smile at them and greet them. If you're frowning, I talk to you. So I'm an extrovert by nature, and have a baby heart. So sometimes people take me for granted because of my baby heart nature. But I'm growing up. This 2002, I'll be 65.
Wow, you don't look it one bit. Interesting.
So, what helped me, because I know that this is the core of this discussion, is that my father made me realize that as a woman, as a girl growing into ladyhood and womanhood, that I can be anything I want to be. He always said to me, baby, you can be anything you want to be. So he gave me, he pumped faith and boldness into me. So I grew up in that background. So very, very early, I knew whom I was. But the society also affected me just the way it affects many women today. The Bible story of Adam, God bringing Eve out of Adam, was not meant for us to be in a second-class position by any means. He made us to be helpmeet to men or to our husbands. But somehow, from Bible days till date, women, somewhere in the back of many men's mind, because I deal with men, a lot of them, I found out that they still think of us as second-hand citizens, as people to be put down. Many of them don't recognize our intelligence. Many, and it's unfortunate, because when you don't recognize the intelligence of a woman that God has put in your life, your own life as a man will not be fulfilled the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, so ma'am, now I get to know that you were encouraged as a girl child to be who you are.
Yes, ma'am.
And it helps a lot.
Yes.
For many women.
For parents.
Yes,
parents,
generally for parents.
Yes. Yeah, parents should know that they should encourage their daughters to be what God has called them to be.
Yes. So let's help the girl child. Let's encourage the girl child.
Yes.
Let's train the girl child.
Yes.
That's because the girls of today will be tomorrow's women. Yes.
Yes.
So definitely we need to take care of the girl child in a very special way. I'm not leaving out the boys, because I still train the boys as well, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Women these days are going through a lot. But now let's go into looking at your dreams as a young girl, mommy. Growing up, all through the stages, what did you actually you dreamt of becoming something or someone?
Yes.
Children of these days, what do you want to be in future? I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer,
Yes.
So what did you dream of becoming when you were an adult? Because you just said something about preaching was not in the line of you when you were growing up.
Yes, not at all.
So you're going to tell us what your dreams were, what you wanted to be in life as you're growing up as a young girl.
Yes.
And at what point in time did you get into preaching and today you're a bishop?
My father used to tell me the story of a British nurse called Florence Nightingale. So I told him I want to be Florence Nightingale. So as I kept growing up, I found out I was an all-round student. I was good in arts and science. And since I don't like to see people sick, so I wanted to be a medical doctor. So usually in the Nigeria academic system, you take what you call JAMB, and then you enter into medical school. So I did immediately after my high school, and they said I didn't have enough points. But at that time, I did not know that for you to get into medical school or law school or professional courses, that they needed to go see somebody. We didn't know about that culture then. It's still happening in Nigeria up to now, and that is not good. You let children study what they want to study, whether their parents were doctors or lawyers or not. That's how it's supposed to be. So I wanted to be a medical doctor, and then I was advised to go study biology or pharmacy or microbiology, to enter into it first, then change after my first year. That's exactly what I did. So even though I came first, and I began to study zoology. At the end of zoology, my professor, Awache, didn't let me change to go and study medicine. And some of my mates, after studying for 4 years, they went back to medical school. But me being the first daughter, I didn't have that privilege. So everybody said, you go work and help your parents to train your younger ones. So that's how I ended up not studying medicine.
Mhm.
So after youth service, I got a job in a research institute in Kaduna. That's where I met my husband.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So you now worked as a zoologist.
So now I began to work as a research officer in
Okay.
NITA, the Nigeria Institute for Tribal Research.
Okay.
But there's this thing that has followed me from childhood. I noticed that I loved God. I don't know why. I just love God and I just love people. So even as an Anglican, in America they call it Episcopal. I never missed communion, the very early morning communion, 5 a.m. I mean, as a little girl, I will leave my house when it's not so bright and still go. So you see, love for God, it's very important for every woman. Love for God, because this is one thing they didn't tell me when I was younger. My father was Methodist, Anglican. They were taking me to church. But every woman should know that your closeness to God is the key to your survival, because we are very emotional beings.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Take it off from
All
there.
right then. I want to. So it's from when you were a little girl
That I began
you had
loving
a
God.
love for God.
Yes.
But you never dreamt of becoming a pastor.
No,
talk
no,
of being a bishop today.
no,
So at
no.
what point? Where did you actually? I know you still said when you met your husband there was no preaching in line, but
Yeah.
somewhere along the line,
Yes.
something happened, and today you are here where you are. So I want to get to hear that beautiful story of how you got into preaching, ministry, and today you're a bishop.
Okay, so when before I met my husband, I went to a church called Christian Assembly Kaduna. There a Ghanaian preacher was preaching, and he said, nobody can love you like Jesus. That nobody can even cut your finger. But sometimes it's not what the preacher says, it's what the Holy Spirit does with what he said. So the word entered my spirit, man. I had a friend just like every young girl, and at that point it broke my heart. So I was broken. And maybe God needed to get me to that stage for me to walk up and say, I received Jesus as my Lord and Savior. But I want to say something. Even after I did this in 1980 July, I needed to grow in God. Because many churches now, people go there, they love Jesus, they receive Jesus, but they're not growing. So you need to grow in God so that you know your left or your right. So it's on the process of growth. I went to Bible school just to grow, to really know about God, because everything, the Bible is not so easy to understand. It was after I went to Bible school, I began to have the understanding. Oh, maybe God is calling me to share the word of God. But my husband, who received Christ in 1973 at University of Ife, already knew that he was a preacher by 1975, because he had a 5 days dry fast. So if you really also want to know what God is saying about you, go to a Bible school, and God may not be calling you to preach. That's another mistake that many Christians are making now. They say God is calling them to do something. God can be calling you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or do the kind of job that beautiful Sister Joy is doing here. God can call you into any area. But there's a bottom line. Every call that God calls you is to affect another human being. If the call that God is calling you is not to affect another human being, then God is not God that is calling you. Whenever God calls us, is to affect another life. You see these camera people? They are doing this to affect a life. That's what I noticed about the call. You don't need to be in the pulpit to be called of God.
Okay. So whatever
Yes.
field or wherever you find yourself,
yes, ma'am.
you can affect
And
one.
it's easy to know.
Okay.
It's easy to know what you do very easily. That's God's call.
Okay.
What you do with joy, that's God's call.
Yes.
Remember the story of Moses in the Bible? He hated oppression. So when they oppressed people, he came to rescue. That's the call.
Okay. Yes.
You can just love hair, making hair. That's your call. You can love making people beautiful with clothes. That's your call.
So we can still say what you have passion for. It's
Yes.
a call.
That's it. That's another way of saying it. Yes.
Okay. All right, ma'am. That's now we've seen from the Bible school.
Yes.
You got this inspiration.
Yes.
And you knew that.
Yes.
This is where
But
you're heading
let me add something. In 1991-92, God made it clearer to me. Remember, I'm growing. I'm growing in God.
Yeah.
When you're growing in God, becoming more like God, you're hearing God clearly. Many people don't understand when God is talking to them. So we had a meeting in December in Faith Garden, Kaduna. And that day I just heard the voice of God like I was hearing a trumpet. He said that he's calling me from Isaiah 60, that he had sent me as a joy to many generations. And that's why, Joy, you see me smiling all the time. It's a call. I don't manufacture it. You don't manufacture a call. It just flows from you. Actually, ministry is a flow out of you. You don't study to talk to people. You just talk to people after staying with God. Thank you.
Let's look at women that have inspired your life growing up until now.
Women that have inspired my life. Deborah of the Bible. What was it about Deborah of the Bible that inspired my life? The Bible said that there was problem in Israel, just like there's problem in Nigeria now. And people were afraid to even travel. And she arose. The men were afraid, but she, a woman, something in her, she arose. So I said, okay, as a woman, don't just sit and wait. When you see something going on wrong in your family, in your community, in your nation, arise and do something. Orphans, widows, arise and do something. Do you know, beautiful Joy, that what you need to do to affect the world doesn't need to be a lot. Just a cup of water. You know, the other day I was passing through Summit, so I saw some beggars sitting. I said, now I see people I'll give Christmas food. You know, just package it, put ice fish and give somebody who does not have money to eat. That is affecting a life. You don't need a large pulpit. You don't need TBN or Daystar in order to affect a life. Every soul is a soul to God.
That's true. Beautiful. So, Deborah in the Bible.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
Yes. Juanita Bynum. There's something I like about Juanita Bynum. She's passionate. I like passionate people. She's passionate. She inspired me. Joyce Meyer inspires me. Joyce Meyer speaks the truth in a very simple way. She just puts it out there. That's why I like Joyce Meyer. And Joyce Meyer is consistent. And she honors her husband. You know, I believe we are talking to young ladies coming up.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I want to, we women, we must learn to honor the men in our life, our fathers, our brothers, and our husbands. Yes, many men have made a lot of mistakes. Men have their peculiar challenges. But I think we complain too much about our men. I think we complain too much. And men are easily more discouraged than we, but we don't know that. So I think women should learn to honor the men in their life. Privately, you can talk with him. But because we are natural, we are natural evangelists. Women, we tend to come outside and, tear open our men. And the thing is that, Joy, the people you're sharing your husband with are even worse than your husband. Or their husband is worse than your husband. So if we can learn that, over the years, now I'll be 36 years married this December.
Ah, beautiful.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, over the years now, I'm learning now that the things I thought, I couldn't just pass through this, that I was able to pass through it. And the person is sorry for what he did, and life continues. Yes. When I read all the recommendations about the kind of men you should marry, I said, nobody is going to get married if we follow all these recommendations. No woman. And if we that are married begin to check everything our husband is doing, nobody is going to stay married. Because the enemy is interested in families. That's one of the things that God used to help me. I hope this helps somebody. Holy Spirit said to me, forgive your husband. Forgive everybody that offend you, because it is a spirit that is using them to offend you. So after the spirit have used them to offend you, the spirit goes away. And the man or the woman or whoever offended will come and say they are sorry. Some don't even say sorry, really. So, but if you keep carrying all the burden that people put on you in terms of offenses, you won't have a life. You won't have a life. So there is this Igbo where I talked to one of my PAs and say, Buto, drop it. You know, the Bible says we should come with our burdens at the feet of Jesus and just drop it.
Jump in there.
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
that's good. Okay, that brings us to talking about yes, whoever has offended you, just forgive and carry on, because you need to have a life. Of
You
your
need
own.
to have
you
a
need
life.
to live the life in full. As
Yes,
the Bible
ma'am.
says.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at challenges you've been through in life. You might have been someone offended you, but you just told me you're going to be 60, 65 or so
Yes.
very soon.
Yes.
Mommy, for 65 years, it's been a beautiful year to the glory of God. That's what I'm seeing in you. But all through those years, I know you've gone through challenges. You didn't just sleep and wake up one morning and you're a bishop sitting here today, looking this beautiful and radiant. I know there have been challenges in the course of your life, Mommy. Let's get to share into that and get to see how did you do it. And
There have been challenges. This season, Christmas, I say when I share with people, my family was not a rich family in terms. When you say people are rich, what you mean is that they can afford everything, anything they want, and see some change in the bank. That's what I believe when people talk about financial riches. My family was not financially rich, but we were a happy family. So we didn't have all the food. There were days I went without food.
growing up,
There were my father could not afford my school fees. It was God that trained me through university.
wow.
So I went through challenges. I cried many nights. I had an issue of blood. I had health challenge. I used to bleed from January to January for 9 years. God healed me. So there were so many challenges. When I was in secondary school, class 4, my father fell down and he hit his, and they put POP all over his body. And I was extremely close to my father, so it devastated me. Like my father was going to die when I was 16. So that was a big challenge that God passed me through. My father did not die. I told God, I don't want my father to die. You know, then there was war. I went through the war as a 9-10-year-old girl. I lived in the bush for 2 years. And we're eating, anytime I say, my husband will say, we're eating a frog. You know there's a difference between frog and toad?
Yes.
Toad is the big fat one.
Okay.
Yes. We're eating anything edible. We ate without salt for 2 years. We lived in the bush, and rain will be falling on us. And I was able to, God put me through that. You know, so many challenges. So if you're a young girl now and you're intelligent and you want to go to school, get your admission. Somebody will help you. Just like God sent people to help me. I had 2 people gave me 2 different scholarships. Then Enugu State gave me a scholarship to finish the rest of the course. So it was not my father that trained me. It was God that trained me. So I did not become a harlot because I needed to go to school. So anything that God does not do for you, let it be. God will do it later. You understand? So I've talked about not having all the finances I needed growing up. I've talked about sickness growing up. So these are challenges. Any married woman who tells you or told you that they don't have marital challenge is telling you a lie. Marriage is full of challenge because the 2 people have to understand each other. And then being in ministry and facing Satan direct, oh my God, he will send all kinds of arrows in different forms. Just think of any form of temptation that can come to you as a bishop or as a bishop's wife. They are still coming. But now I've grown.
Yeah.
So when they come, I smile. My reaction is different from how I reacted 10 years ago because I've gotten mature. So life is full of challenges as a woman, but don't let it derail you. Don't let it make you become what you are not. You know, after we started ministry, God helped us, we're doing well. Then in 2000, I was always having a dream. I had a dream in 1989. where our Holy Spirit will take me. If you read the book of Ezekiel, you understand. Holy Spirit will take me from city to city. I'll see myself preaching in China. I see myself preaching I wasn't a pastor by the time I was having this dream. I was a deaconess.
Okay.
So I'll see myself in America. I'll see myself in different places. After preaching, people will bring the money, the dollar, and the Holy Spirit will show me the dollar in my face to show me this is where you are. Yes. So we were doing quite well here. And this dream, let's expand the ministry. So we now went to America. When we got to America, I started life on the floor.
Seriously?
Seriously. Because in here, when people say they are called, they will just go and maybe rent one building or do some backo and then they start clapping. It's not like that in America. You needed to register, be a minister, all kinds of things. So, and if you don't have what they call social security number, you will not work. And the social security we had was for religious workers. So I'm not supposed to do any other kind of work except that religious worker.
Yeah.
So I began to cook and sell food
In America.
in America to taxi drivers. So I began to cry. I said, God, why are you doing this to me? You've lifted me up. Why am I on the floor? He says, so that you will be entire, wanting nothing. Then my husband was here for a year and a half. Me and my husband were close. I didn't see him for a year and a half. If you see me, Joy, I was darker than this. It was a very big challenge. In short, I thought I was going to die during that period. And here I had 4 kids that are going to school who were not born in America.
Yeah.
So I was like, they are everything. I'll drive them to school and make sure there's food. I could only talk to Daddy on the phone. So it was a very difficult time for me. Then that time passed because God now gave us green card. So, and later we became American citizens. So right now, all family were American citizens.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
That's nice.
It was a very big challenge for me.
That's
Yes.
nice. And God pulled you through.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. So that goes to talk about one being patient and persevering in what you
Hearing
want.
from God.
Okay.
Hearing from God. Because if I didn't hear from God, I would have gone crazy. I would have asked God, say, what is going on now? Why am I like they say, so that you will be entire, wanting nothing, meaning so that nothing on earth will be attached to it. Do you know that up to now, people think that if they go to America, everything will be fine.
It's rosy.
I just spoke to a young pastor. He said he feels he should be abroad. I said, if you don't solve your problems here, if you don't solve your spiritual problems here, if you go to America, it will be worse because you'll be a slave there and nobody to help you. At least, no matter what happens, we are friends now. If I call you and say, Joy, I need salt, I know you will make some effort to get me salt. Yeah. It's not like that in America. You don't talk to anybody, nobody helps you. Because they are suffering to get the money. Before somebody gives you $20 in America, then they really, really love you.
That's nice. Good to know all of that.
Yeah.
And now, the challenges you've passed through, we give God the glory. You've been able to. Today, this is who you are. Some of our women don't believe that maybe you have to go through any stress and go to struggle to become something.
I went through anything because of the kind of nature God gave to me.
Yeah. So what will you tell women out there that just feel it's always all the bed of roses? I should have someone I wake up in the morning and say, have a cup of tea. I'm like, great. Especially in our country, Nigeria, the economy we are today. These have made some women not to want to do, they want the easy way out now. And that's why we see some of our younger ladies, younger girls do some things that they won't be proud about it. They don't want to talk about it, they don't want to do it, and they're not proud about it as a matter of fact. But they do it anyway because they tell you they want to survive.
I know.
So what would be your advice to such people? Having gone through this, you persevered, you prayed, and you came out of it.
There are 2 sets of people I want to talk to now. Some that are older. Reset. You can always start afresh and do it right. What do I mean? As you see me sitting with you now, I can go back to school at 65. Because in America, you can go back to school at any age. I know some ladies in our church who went back and studied accountancy. I know a lady who, she has had all her children, are grown. She went back and studied nursing. Today she's a nurse. So you can have a financial base. It's very important. Because finance is joy. There are two things that bother women: money and love.
Can say that again.
Money and love. So if you have your own money, it will go a long way. You eat what you want to eat. You keep your dignity as a woman. There's something about our body. There's something about the dignity of a woman. If you use your body to get a man to bless you with money or give you money, you will regret it later. You may be enjoying that money. You may be, I don't want to use the word eating. You may be spending that money, but within you, you know you're not happy because you know the way you're getting that money.